Welcome, this is Marianne Cusell, and I'm here to introduce you to probably the most profound deep dive course that I've created, and many people one-on-one with me have experienced in the realm of self-worth. Just like me, you probably came from an adverse childhood experience, which has caused you to question your self-worth. Most people go through life looking at the outside of themselves, trying to prove themselves in some way, trying to control everything in some way, or trying to protect themselves if they have an issue with self-worth. Most people do. It's a part of the human condition, but it's also a very deep and meaningful part if you have come from a high ACE score, which I'm sure if you're here, you would have explored the ACE test that's available on my website. I encourage you to go there on my links and do it, or you can freely find it on the internet. And this will give you an idea of the tapestry of your life, where you've come from, and perhaps what's causing your current situation. Now, whether you're trying to prove yourself still and you're looking out there for happiness all the time, getting disappointment, feeling alone, feeling like you've got to go through everything alone, feeling like you're struggling, these are all signs of self-worth issues. As a specialist in this area, most people, whether they're in their own business, whether they're broken up with someone in a relationship, whether they're struggling to find love, whether they're having a problem with earning large amounts of consistent money, or even sick of just trying to get by, I notice that we all have one thing in common, and that is coming from an adverse childhood experience. So once you've done that test, it's only 10 questions out of 10, getting your self-discovery score. You may notice whether it's a 3, a 5, or a 7, or an 8. You're in safe hands here, because I have one of the highest scores globally in a very minority group. That's why I do stutter sometimes. Things come up for me that I'm able now to completely manage. I know what to do if I'm triggered, if my self-worth is triggered, if fear is triggered. And I'm going to give you those tools here as well. And first of all, what we're going to do in this video is we're going to go through what I call the 4 quadrants of life. We're going to go through what you do in the world. You can call it career, your work, your purpose, your meaning. And we're going to really unpack it about what percentage of self-worth do you feel in this area. But first of all, we've got to understand what self-worth means in that area, right? So we're going to be looking at, are you still trying to prove yourself? If you get to this level of status, does that mean you're worth it? And what if we could take away that anxiety, that self-pressure, that unhealthy driver for motivation that makes you burn out? And then we're going to move on to the relationship sector. And we're going to be discovering 4 parts of relationships here. Number 1, first of all, your parenting. What sort of environment you grew up in. Now, we know that there's been research done to say that the cells will perform or behave towards how the environment energy is playing out. So we know that a lot of your feelings that you're stuffing down, perhaps avoiding, maybe you're using addictive behavior, sugar, smoking, drinking, whatever it is, online shopping, is to avoid being with yourself and really feeling your own self-worth, because it's lost somewhere in translation. When we were little, we didn't have the intellect to process and go, oh, that's right, my mother is acting like a narcissist right now, or my father is It's not that he doesn't love me. He doesn't know how to love me because he's got a drinking problem or whatever it is, what was going on. So you as a child would have felt things deeply. And this is where the neuroscience is very helpful, because it shows us what goes on in the body and why you are questioning your self-worth today. So that parental, generational stuff is really important to look at. And when we do look at these parts, we're going to be doing lots of healing work, lots of exercises. I use EFT tapping. I use timeline therapy. We use a little bit of journaling here as well, which is really helpful for that insight. But mainly, we're here to heal so you can have the highest self-worth. Then we move on to the relationships that you have with others. And these are relationships with your siblings, the relationships with your friendships, and the relationships intimately. Now, most people that suffer from self-worth issues, low self-esteem, past childhood trauma, have a lot of difficulty in this area. And they're often very good, or you may find this yourself, you're very good at talking your way through lots of different subjects. And people think you're very bright. But when it comes to talking about yourself, how you feel, or processing feelings from others, when they're projecting their anger onto you, or their disapproval onto you, or their judgment onto you, this can trigger a great deal of childhood trauma. And so having the best relationship with yourself, of course, is how it's going to ripple out into having a beautiful relationship with others. And then we go on to, you know, the greatest one of all, I believe, is, of course, your health. And this is always a reflection, what goes on in the health sector towards your childhood trauma, or your unhealed trauma, or your lack of self-acknowledgement, self-acceptance, self-approval in some way, which all equals your self-worth. Now, here's the golden nugget. It's not somebody else's self-worth. It's not somebody else's worth. And this is an interesting part where we give our power away to others, saying, please show me I'm worth it. Please love me and show me I'm worth it. Please give me feedback to show me I'm worth it. And so we break this cycle with your health, and this affects your financial health when you have high self-worth or healthy self-worth. When you've healed those lost parts of you that are a continual life process, but they get less and less, and you can feel and realign really, really quickly, what I call self-regulation, or the terminology in therapy is self-regulation. When you do get triggered, because you may still get triggered in the future, I still get triggered, but my recovery time is within moments. If it's a massive trigger from childhood trauma that had to come up to be healed, I welcome it, even though it can be scary. Remember, I've got a very high ACE score, a lot more to deal with than most, and therefore I know exactly what to do. I know to take myself to do this. I do increase my meditation. I increase my yoga practice. I increase, my tapping, all sorts of things. And what might take somebody 3 or 4 years in therapy to overcome, I do it within a matter of a week or two. That's a massive 9 out of 10 trauma. Or trigger. So health is the basis of everything. And when we work on our self-worth health, and this comes from your physical health, the body will dictate your feelings back to you. If you're not taking care of your physical health and have a regular routine, your mental health and emotional health go hand in hand, and this comes through we're looking at how to do a daily practice. And the gift in this course is I will be giving you a daily practice to do, so that you have something that you have as a complete guide. And I'll do it in, you can do it for 5 minutes a day, morning and night. You can, if you really want to have the higher version of yourself, doing it for 15 minutes a day, half an hour a day. Because if you can't give yourself that time to give yourself and self-regulate and give yourself this daily practice to consistently feel your self-worth, so you can have lots of opportunity come to you, you can see the rewards coming back to you from the universe. If you can't give yourself time every day to tune in, then don't even do the course, because if you can't put yourself first now and say, I've got to do this, my self-worth is everything. If I cannot, often people get to the point in their lives where they're just so sick of the struggle that they do give themselves time. I can go maybe a day or two without, I don't think I have actually. I can't really go a day or two without, tuning in, meditation, because it's just ingrained in me now. Once you see the benefits, my goodness, you will love being you. So we go through all aspects of your health, and this also includes your social health, because connection to yourself, to divine intelligence, whatever you call it, is fantastic. But connection outside of yourself, social connection, is really valuable. Social connection is also where we learn we grow even more. This is why relationships are imperative in our life, relationships with others, love relationships, because these obstacles need to come up for us to grow. If we just stay the same, we become like shrink wrap, all of these old traumas and stuff just start bottling up in our bodies. And, we age very, very quickly and we feel pain in the body. These are all past traumas. So it's a really valuable piece. And we move on to the social aspect of your life so that you can start to feel this wholeness happening in your life through your career, your relationships, your health, and your joy. So I look forward to supporting you on this journey. And you'll just look at all the other reviews, perhaps check out my website, my Google reviews under Marianne Kuzel, and just see what others say. So you just know you're just going to reap the rewards for this. All right. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Much love to you.